Welcome to Biggest Spoilars, the destination for exclusive spoilers, latest updates.
General Hospital spoilers reveal that we've to ask, is Sam McCall returning to save Scout Quartermain from her monster daddy, Drew Kane? It's clear that selfish Drew puts his own requirements above those of his own son. Scout has been suffering in Drew's care and desperately needs her loving mama back in her life. We also see Aunt forget about Danny Morgan, who's being kept down from his little family because of Drew's grudge against Jason Morgan. Drew views Danny as an extension of Jason, so he's refusing to budge on Danny's restraining order. Still, she'd put a stop to all this if Sam were alive. Sam would no way let Drew get down with treating her children so cruelly, so numerous observers would like to see her return from the grave and take charge. The timing feels right considering Nathan West and Britt Westbourne-Boff made adulatory comebacks. Still, they could clearly undo Sam's, if G.H. Pens can undo Britt and Nathan's grim fates. It'd be easy to write Sam into this plot involving Caesar Faison's final design and include her as the rearmost back from the dead stunner. Actually, utmost Sam suckers presumably do and watch about the details anyway. Any rewrite that puts Sam back on oil would be a good bone. In the January 14th occasion, Alexis Davis went on a rant about Drew and how he'd underpinning Scout into some crooked interpretation of him if given the chance. Alexis had no choice but to defend Willow Kane and fight for Scout access since Drew could brainwash her granddaughter against Sam's side of the family. During Alexis' discussion with Sonny Corinthos, she refocused out that Sam was there to fix this. That's why Alexis feels like she has to take control. But perhaps Sam could return to repair effects after all. It'd be great to see Sam come back alive and put Drew in his place. Scout deserves better than her tone-centered father and her secret shooter mammy since Willow is covering up her guilt. Would you like to see Sam return to Port Charles alive and well? Do you only want Kelly Monaco back in the part, or would you accept a Sam McCall recast? General Hospital spoilers say someone has to shut down Drew formally and for all. So stay tuned for updates on any Sam news to come. General Hospital spoilers reveal Willow Tate Kaney's eventually coming out of her shell after times of playing the part of the demure and mild supporting character to several other further fiery women. Willow's true colors don't exactly paint her as a fierce or strong woman, however. They make her look downright crazy, and that might be because she is. We see Aunt ignore the family history. Not only has her mama, Nina Reeves, had several bouts of internal health straits herself, but her late binary family, Nellie Benson Jerome, was anything but stable. Now that we've seen what Willow is really each about, it might be time to reassess who the evil binary really is. Just how important is Willow like her binary sis? Like mother, like daughter. Recall that Willow first came to City the son of a woman named Harmony Miller. Harmony had raised Willow up in a cult and passed on some veritably mischievous assignments to her son about faith, authority, and connections with men. As a result, Willow was subservient and didn't feel to know herself without a manly to attach herself to. So it's so accessible that she met Michael Corinthos in a grief support group and came emotionally codependent on him, just like Nellie did, and just like Nina has with numerous men she has dated and indeed married over the times. Of course, we see and forget that Willow has had plenitude of UPS and Campo with both of her maters. 2. Stability is in her nature. GH spoilers say Drew didn't just bait her down. Drew Kane didn't actually have any power over Willow, she gave it to him, much the way she gave power over herself to David Shiloh Archer once upon a time. Sure, Drew saved her life, but Willow didn't have to show her gratefulness by turning on the hubby who nursed her through cancer and made her a mama, doubly. Willow also cheated on Harrison Chase, another man she married indeed though she didn't love him. Flashback when Nellie married Julian Jaramillo tried to blackmail him into seeking guardianship of Wiley Corinthos? Sounds a bit familiar to Willow marrying Drew to get guardianship of Wiley and Amelia Corinthos? A hijacking wannabe killer. Willow didn't shoot Drew until September of 2025, but it was months before in June that baby Daisy Corinthos Gilmore was abducted briefly while inside her own home, as well as easily changed and moved in her bed, startling her mama, Sasha Gilmore. Willow was trying to get under Sasha's skin enough to beget her to flee, going Michael his child. When she succeeded, she was thrilled and could mask the smile on her face, which Lisa Lebrecht and Nina caught. Michael keeps telling everyone Willow is Aunt who they suppose she is, and I believe that's true. I'm just staying for him to call her out for being just like Nellie. Olivia leveled a shotgun at Drew and Alexis verified that Kai and Trina are correct about Willow's guilt. At Windmere, Sidwell asks Jordan to go and watch the trial. He wants to see if Drew makes another scene. He may have to replace him. Marco meets Britt at GH and tells her they're falling behind the competition and need to move briskly. She complains that's because they killed Dalton. She can't do her work without a lab. Marco explains his father has set one over on Ladle Island. Britt worries they will be donezo if Lucas notices her at the house. Marco orders her not to mention him again. He suggests she move into Windmere and leave the rest of her life before. Marco reminds her that they've her drug and walks out. Valentine and Carly pace her garret. He asks her to search Brennan's room. She says she can't search a assets room. He tells her she needs to do this and can't get caught. Since Claudette betrayed him, he's doubtful to leave anything indicting at the office. Anything top secret will be hard dupe only and they can use it against Jack and Sidwell. He tells her Jack's usual caching spaces and urges her to go now. He's going to skulk over to Windmere and look around for a covert operation. Alexis meets with Diane in their office. She explains she can't defend her customer any longer. Willow is shamefaced and she needs to recuse herself. Diane says that will mean a mistrial. Her mate walks her through the substantiation showing Willow is shamefaced. Diane points out that if she brings any of it up in court, she'll be disbarred. Alexis is sure Willow will be acquitted unless she uses her ending to tell the jury what happened. Her mate says that would be unethical. Alexis can't allow an attempter killer to raise her granddaughter. Diane reminds her that most of their guests are end angels. Alexis says Scout is more important than her future as a lawyer. Jacinda and Michael arrive at the courthouse and he assures her he wants her to be with him. When Dante runs into Jack, he asks if the WSB tampered with his department's substantiation. He was an agent so he knows they could do it. But why would they want Willow acquitted? Jack suggests that Drew could have had the substantiation disappeared, but why would they want Willow acquitted? Jack suggests that Drew could have had the substantiation disappeared. Ava and Nina talk about whether Willow's evidence will be enough to save her. Nina notices Jacinda is there rather than at work. She and Michael brush her off. Dante meets with Turner and they consider who could have been tampering with the substantiation database. Curtis joins Trina in the courtroom. He wanted to hear the ending arguments for himself. Why is she there? She claims she's there to support Kai. Jordan shows up so Trina walks off, leaving them to flirt. Across the room, Drew assures Willow that the jury will see she's innocent. He wonders why Alexis isn't there yet. Nina joins them and Willow starts venting about Michael being there with his fake justification. Alexis shows up just as the judge enters. The trial resumes and Turner offers her ending statement, mapping out how and why Willow tried to murder Drew. Alexis is over next. She goes over the evidence they've heard and how the only piece of substantiation tying her to the crime is a gun that could have been fluently planted. She says her customer is innocent, was framed, and just wants to be with her children. The jury is dismissed to deliberate. Drew tells his woman she'll walk out of then a free woman. He tells Nina that this is a pom-pom for them. Everything is playing out as he promised Willow it would. Michael tells Jacinda he prays the jury can see Willow for who she really is. Willow thanks Alexis for all her work. However, it'll be because of her. If she goes free, Pascal brings Anna her food in prison. She's clumsy and claims there's commodity wrong. She explains she needs regular phlebotomy treatments and if she doesn't get them soon, she'll be dead. Pascal goes upstairs to see his master and fill him in about the phlebotomy. Ava shows up to talk to Sidwell and he starts lavishing her with respects. She's arranged for them to have a viewing on some artworks in Spain. Pascal returns to Anna and finds her on the bottom. He pulls out his gun to check on her and she starts to scuffle with him. Back upstairs, Ava catches Valentine sneaking around. Carly sneaks into Jack's room. She quests, ultimately finds some retired paperwork, and photos it. She hears Britt and Jack bickering in the hall and runs into the restroom. She puts on a mask as they argue about his plan to trap Sidwell. General Hospital spoilers are forcing fans to ask an impossible yet enticing question. one that refuses to go away no matter how hard the show tries to bury it. Is Sam McCall destined to return from the dead to rescue her daughter Scout Quartermain from the man who was supposed to protect her, Drew Kane? The story unfolding in Port Charles has become increasingly unsettling, and the more viewers watch, the clearer it becomes that Drew's version of fatherhood is riddled with control, manipulation, and deeply selfish motives. What was once framed as concern has transformed into something darker, more dangerous, and far more damaging, especially for a vulnerable little girl who desperately needs her mother. Scout Quartermain is not thriving. She is surviving, barely. And in the eyes of many fans, she is suffering under Drew's watch, trapped in a household ruled by secrets, lies, and an emotionally unstable stepmother who may be far more dangerous than anyone wants to admit. If Sam McCall were still alive, this would never be happening. Scout's silent cry, and the mother who should be answering it. Scout is the innocent casualty in a war she never asked to be part of. Drew claims he's protecting her, but every move he makes seems designed to serve his own ego rather than his daughter's emotional well-being. He isolates her, dictates who can love her, and weaponizes her against anyone who dares to challenge him. Most disturbingly, Scout has been cut off from the people who anchor her, including her brother Danny Morgan. Drew's resentment toward Jason Morgan has reached such obsessive levels that he now sees Danny not as a child, but as a living reminder of his rival. To Drew, Danny isn't a boy who misses his sister, he's an extension of Jason. And because of that, Drew refuses to lift the restraining order keeping the siblings apart. Scout is paying the price for a grown man's vendetta. Sam McCall would never allow this. Sam was fierce, protective, and unwavering when it came to her children. If she were here, Drew's power trip would be over. He wouldn't be able to manipulate court orders, twist narratives, or emotionally damage Scout without consequence. That's why fans are clamoring for the impossible, Sam McCall's resurrection. Soap opera resurrection isn't impossible, it's practically tradition. In the world of General Hospital, death is rarely final. Fans have seen characters return from supposedly fatal endings more times than they can count. Recently, Nathan West and Britt Westbourne defied the grave, shocking viewers and rewriting history in true soap fashion. If the writers could undo their tragic fates, why not Sam's? The timing feels intentional. The storyline is ripe for a massive reveal. There's already an undercurrent of mystery swirling around Caesar Faison's final project, a plot thread that practically screams back from the dead twist. Sam could be woven into that arc seamlessly, revealed as a captive, a test subject, or someone who faked her death to protect her children from an unseen threat. Frankly, many fans don't even care how it happens. They just want her back. Bring Sam home. Let her take control. Let her save Scout. Alexis Davis sounds the alarm, and she's terrified. In the January 14th episode, Alexis Davis finally said what viewers have been thinking. During a heated rant, she warned that Drew would twist Scout into a distorted version of himself if left unchecked. Alexis isn't prone to exaggeration, and her fear was raw and genuine. She sees the warning signs. She knows what kind of man Drew is becoming, and she knows Scout is in danger of being emotionally molded by him. Forced into an impossible position, Alexis defended Willow Kane in court, not because she believed in her innocence, but because Scout's access depended on it. Drew has positioned Willow as Scout's gatekeeper, a woman who may be capable of poisoning the child against her own family. Alexis later admitted to Sonny Corinthos that Sam isn't there to fix this, and that's what scares her the most. Without Sam, Alexis feels the burden of protecting Scout has fallen squarely on her shoulders. But what if Sam is coming back? What if Alexis won't have to fight this battle alone for much longer? Willow Kane's mask is slipping, and what's underneath is terrifying. As the courtroom drama unfolds, Willow Tate Kane is finally revealing who she really is, and it's not the gentle, soft-spoken woman she's pretended to be for years. This isn't strength. This isn't empowerment. This is instability. The signs were always there. Willow comes from a deeply troubled lineage. Her mother, Nina Reeves, has struggled with emotional extremes and obsessive behavior. Her late twin, Nellie Benson Jerome, was manipulative, ruthless, and violent. Now, Willow's actions are forcing fans to ask an uncomfortable question: was Nellie really the evil twin, or did Willow simply hide her darkness better? A pattern of obsession and control. Willow's past tells a chilling story. Raised by Harmony Miller inside a cult, she was conditioned to obey authority, surrender autonomy, and define herself through men. That damage never healed, it merely evolved. She attached herself to Michael Corinthos in grief, just as Nellie once did. She married Harrison Chase without love, just as Nellie married Julian Jerome for personal gain. And now, she's married Drew Kane, not for love, but for control. Custody. Power. Leverage. The parallels are undeniable. Drew didn't manipulate Willow, she chose him, just as she once chose Shiloh Archer. She handed over her power willingly and then used that alliance to betray the man who stood by her through cancer and motherhood. A kidnapping that changed everything. Months before Drew was shot, baby Daisy Corinthos Gilmore was briefly kidnapped in her own home. The child was moved, disturbed, and used as a psychological weapon against Sasha Gilmore. Evidence suggested Willow wanted Sasha pushed out, wanted Michael to lose his child. When it worked, Willow couldn't even hide her satisfaction. Nina Reeves and Liesl Albrecht both noticed the smile Willow tried, and failed, to suppress. That wasn't relief. That was delight. Michael keeps insisting Willow isn't who everyone thinks she is, and for once, he might be right. She's worse. Courtroom bombshells and ethical lines crossed. As Willow's trial reaches its climax, Alexis Davis is faced with an impossible moral dilemma. The evidence points clearly to Willow's guilt, yet defending her has become the only way to maintain access to Scout. Behind closed doors, Alexis admits to Diane Miller that she can no longer represent Willow in good conscience. Doing so could cause a mistrial. Revealing the truth could end her legal career. But Alexis doesn't hesitate. Scout's safety matters more than her future as a lawyer. If Willow walks free, it will be because the system failed, not because she's innocent. Threats, schemes, and dangerous alliances beyond the courtroom. Elsewhere, danger escalates rapidly. At Windmere, Sidwell watches the trial with calculating interest. Britt Westbourne and Marco scramble to stay ahead in a race involving illegal labs, stolen medicine, and deadly secrets. Britt is ordered to abandon her old life and move into Windmere, cutting ties with anyone who could expose her. Valentine and Carly conduct a covert search for incriminating evidence against Jack Brennan, risking everything to uncover a clandestine operation. Meanwhile, Anna Devane fights for her life in captivity, faking medical distress to provoke a fatal mistake. Ava Jerome plays a dangerous double game, flattering Sidwell while unknowingly crossing paths with Valentine. Everywhere you look, Port Charles is a powder keg, and the fuse is burning fast. The question that won't go away. With all this chaos, one truth remains clear: Scout Quartermain needs her mother. Drew Kane cannot be trusted. Willow Kane is unraveling. Alexis is stretched to her breaking point. Only Sam McCall could shut Drew down completely. So the question remains, will General Hospital bring Sam back from the dead? And if she does return, will Drew survive the reckoning? Would you want Sam McCall back, alive and ready to fight? Would you accept a recast, or does only Kelly Monaco belong in that role? General Hospital spoilers promise that someone is about to stop Drew once and for all, and when it happens, Port Charles may never be the same.